Chapter 12 of Glinda of Oz. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Evelyn Clark. Glinda of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Chapter 12. The Diamond Swan. When the Flatheads had gone away, the Diamond Swan swam back to the boat, and one of the young skeezers, named Ervic, said to her eagerly, "How can we get back to the island, Your Majesty?" "Am I not beautiful?" asked Coo ee oh, arching her neck gracefully and spreading her diamond-sprinkled wings. "I can see my reflection in the water, and I'm sure there is no bird, nor beast, nor human as magnificent as I am." "How shall we get back to the island, Your Majesty?" pleaded Ervic. "When my fame spreads throughout the land, people will travel from all parts of this lake to look upon my loveliness," said Coo ee oh, shaking her feathers to make the diamonds glitter more brilliantly. "But, Your Majesty, we must go home, and we do not know how to get there," persisted Ervic. "My eyes," remarked the Diamond Swan, "are wonderfully blue and bright, and will charm all beholders. Tell us how to make the boat go." "How to get back to the island," begged Ervic, and the others cried just as earnestly, "Tell us, Coo ee oh. Tell us." "I don't know," replied the Queen in a careless tone. "You are a magic worker, a sorceress, a witch." "I was, of course, when I was a girl," she said, bending her head over the clear water to catch her reflection in it. "But now I've forgotten all such foolish things as magic. Swans are lovelier than girls, especially when they're sprinkled with diamonds. Don't you think so?" And she gracefully swam away, without seeming to care whether they answered or not. Ervic and his companions were in despair. They saw plainly that Coo ee oh could not or would not help them. The former queen had no further thought for her island, her people, or her wonderful magic. She was only intent on admiring her own beauty. "Truly," said Ervic in a gloomy voice, "the Flatheads have conquered us." Some of these events had been witnessed by Ozma and Dorothy and Lady Aurex, who had left the house and gone close to the glass of the dome in order to see what was going on. Many of the Skeezers had also crowded against the dome, wondering what would happen next. Although their vision was to an extent blurred by the water and the necessity of looking upward at an angle, they had observed the main points of the drama enacted above. They saw Queen Coo ee oh's submarine come to the surface and open. They saw the Queen standing erect to throw her magic rope. Then her sudden transformation into a diamond swan, and a cry of amazement went up from the Skeezers inside the dome. "Good!" exclaimed Dorothy. "I hate that old Sudic, but I'm glad Coo ee oh is punished." "This is a dreadful misfortune," cried Lady Ulrich, pressing her hands upon her heart. Yes, agreed Ozma, nodding her head thoughtfully. Coo ee oh's misfortune will prove a terrible blow to her people. What do you mean by that? Asked Dorothy in surprise. Seems to me the Skeezers are in luck to lose their cruel queen. If that were all, you would be right, responded Lady Ulrich. And if the island were above water, it would not be so serious. But here we all are, at the bottom of the lake, and fast prisoners in this dome. Can't you raise the island? Inquired Dorothy. No, only Coo ee oh knew how to do that, was the answer. We can try, insisted Dorothy. If it can be made to go down, it can be made to come up. The machinery is still here, I suppose. Yes, but the machinery works by magic, and Coo ee oh would never share her secret power with any of us. Dorothy's face grew grave, but she was thinking. Ozma knows a lot of magic, she said. But not that kind of magic, Ozma replied. Can't you learn how? By looking at the machinery? I'm afraid not, my dear. It isn't fairy magic at all. It is witchcraft. Well, said Dorothy, turning to Lady Ulrich, you say there are other sinking boats? We can get in one of those and shoot out to the top of the water, like Coo ee oh did, and so escape. And then we can help to rescue all the Skeezers down here. No one knows how to work the underwater boats but the Queen, declared Lady Ulrich. Isn't there any door or window in this dome that we can open? No, and if there were, the water would rush in to flood the dome, and we could not get out. The Skeezers, said Ozma, could not drown. They only get wet and soggy, and in that condition they would be very uncomfortable and unhappy. But you are a mortal girl, Dorothy, and if your magic belt protected you from death, you would have to lie forever at the bottom of the lake. No, I'd rather die quickly, asserted the little girl. But there are doors in the basement that open to let out the bridges and the boats, and that would not flood the dome, you know. Those doors open by a magic word, and only Coo ee oh knows the words that must be uttered, said Lady Ulrich. Dear me, exclaimed Dorothy. That dreadful Queen's witchcraft upsets all my plans to escape. I guess I'll give it up, Ozma, and let you save us. Ozma smiled, but her smile was not so cheerful as usual. The Princess of Oz found herself confronted with a serious problem, and although she had no thought of despairing, she realized that the Skeezers and their island, as well as Dorothy and herself, were in grave trouble, and that unless she could find a means to save them, they would be lost to the land of Oz for all future time. In such a dilemma, she said musingly, nothing is gained by haste. Careful thought may aid us, and so may the course of events. The unexpected is always like